1% of dudes rapping, they ain't nice as me. 98% ain't live the same type of life as me. The judge gave me life and then they sent me where the life is be. That level 4 with depth and vice, the type of stuff they like to see. Two choices, fight or flee. I refuse to die a chump. I never been a mark, but damn, it's scary when that riot jump. I seen dudes cry, get pumped, and some sexually brutalized. Knew a dude who lost his life and he was only doing 5 year-long racial fights when homie all you do is ride. Lonely days and nights up in a hole causing suicide. From the moment you arrive, you see the Mexican mafia, AB skinheads with big giant swastikas, pro-black philosophers, the BGF, the Kumi, and Muslims who will murk you from the nation to the Sunni. That MS was loony, quick to ride up on they rival. Even Christians went to church, hide knives up in they Bible. Political and tribal, the Crips and Damus, the Long Beach, the Hubs and the Dubs and the Grooves, the IE, the Bakersfield, the Dago Pyrus, the Hustlers quick to roll, the gangsters don't move, whatever click.
Say what's cracking, YouTube? It's your boy 16 to Life, and I'm back like I'm on a parole violation. Yard down. Now, for those of y'all that's new to my page, in 1994, I got arrested. I was eventually sentenced to 16 years plus life, and I served 24 years straight in the California prison system. Yeah, that's me gassing right there on that intro song. And if you want to get that song, hit me up on my email, 16tolifemusic@gmail.com, and I will give you information on how to get that song. Now, let's get into today's video, man. So, Poetik Flakko is saying that he has footage that might potentially be related to the Hefe shooting. Man, listen, this stuff just came out like a day or two ago. I believe a day ago, right? Talking about Hefe being picked up on a murder charge, man. And it's really getting, man, it's so many twists and turns coming out, you know, people saying this, people saying that. You know, in a situation like this, a lot of information is going to come, you know, out, whether it is true or false. You know, that's what YouTube does, man. YouTube happens to put a whole lot of stuff out there, you know, because once again, Hefe is a very popular YouTuber, and so you're going to have a lot of individuals, man, trying to figure things out, people making content, and man, it's a whole lot, like I said, a lot of twists and a lot of turns. So Poetik Flakko is alleging to have a tape that is supposed to be a shooting at a taco stand that some people are saying involved Hefe. So anyway, man, I'm gonna let Flakko do the talking and present this this situation to you guys. Without further ado, let's get into it.
Got it. This Hefe murder investigation just took a turn for the worse. Now, the family of Hefe has tapped in. Other people from different communities in LA has tapped in, and we have more information. Hefe was arrested yesterday a little after noon by the Robbery and Homicide Division. If you watch any one of Hefe's videos from yesterday, Hefe literally had tears falling from his eyes, as you can see right here. So Hefe was stressed out, or he knew something was coming down the pipeline. He was literally crying in his videos.
Now, his eyes do appear to be red and watery, right? But sometimes, man, people will just see stuff and just grab onto it and run with it without any factual, you know, evidence to support what they're talking about. You know, it's possible that he could have just been staying up all night. You know, he could have been blowing. You know what I'm saying? I know that I don't smoke. My eyes stay red, and from time to time they do water, right? So, I mean, I'm just looking at things logically, right? Because if I'm going through something and I'm emotional, I'm not just to make a video until I get composed, right? So I'm just looking at things from what makes what would seem like it's common sense to me. You know, like I say, if this dude was going through something, I don't see why he wouldn't compose himself, you know, wash his face or do whatever he needed to do and then come before the camera. But who knows, man? It's just so many twists and turns in this situation.
Another one like the other one.
I don't know what bro was going through. I'm praying for his mental health. This got to be a tough time for Ant, man, because I ain't never seen Ant that emotional. Now, upon information and belief, people began to connect Hefe's arrest to a murder that took place yesterday in LA at a taco stand.
The LAPD says there was an argument just before the gunfire, and it all unfolded just steps away from a busy taco stand.
NBC4's Camilla Rambaldi joins us live from the LAPD headquarters after talking with witnesses. Camilla.
Hi, Jonathan and Kathy. Telemundo 52 spoke with the brother of the man who was killed. I also spoke with one man who was working at the taco stand last night. He told me he heard about 7 to 8 gunshots. Let's go ahead and get you to some video from earlier. In this clip, you can see several bullet holes in a fence near the stand. The LAPD says the shooting was reported just before 2 in the morning near the intersection of Holmes and Slauson Avenues. As you mentioned earlier, there are a number of businesses in the area. Police say a man walked toward a car and there was some sort of an argument. Police say the man was then shot and the shooter took off in a car. It is unclear at this point what led up to the argument. The family of the man who was killed has identified him as 30-year-old Deshaun Coleman. They shared a photo of him with our team. Here was more from his family and reaction from a man who was working at the taco stand.
We don't know nothing. All we know, we need justice. He was a good person, a loving person. He took care of everybody.
We hear some people yelling, like yelling bad words, start fighting.
Did you hear the gunshots?
Yeah, I hear the gunshots. I hear like 7 gunshots, and that scares me. I didn't move. I was frozen, like no zero nerves. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know if to run or to stay.
The question of the day is, did Jefe commit this murder? Well, to answer that question, let's take a look at the footage of the murder. And yes, I got the footage before the police. Don't ask me how I got it. I don't even know if I'm privy to share that information. I don't know if, who gave me the footage will even want me to say it.
Now, let's keep in mind, right, that he said he got the footage before the police. He's not saying that he has footage that the police does not have. Because, of course, in this day and age, when the police do an investigation, we already know it's cameras everywhere. So that's going to be one of the first questions that they pose to the owners of this taco stand and also to businesses in close proximity to this shooting, right? You have a lot of people saying, man, why are people reporting on an open case, right? That's what the news does. Any type of information that's being released to the public can be reported on. That's what the news does, is information. The problem lies when people start discovering, exposing information that the police does not have, and then submitting that information to the police intentionally or unintentionally through YouTube videos, posts, etc., so on and so forth, right? We already have clearly said that, we already have clearly seen where the police, the feds, whoever, say they are watching YouTube podcast, specifically No Jumper. Now, even though Poetik Flakko is no longer on No Jumper, he is very well known, so I'm sure his podcast is still something that's being watched, right? So he put a video out. This video is not going to be taken down by him, of course, so anything that he puts out, if the police don't have, they already have. So I'm not saying they don't have this video, because I'm sure they do. What I'm saying is, that's for those people who talk about, why are you guys reporting on open investigation cases? This is public information released to the public for the most part.
But just know I got the footage of the murder, okay? The reason why people believe that Jefe may be involved in this murder is because one of Jefe's vehicle may or may not have been at the scene when his murder took place, okay? One of Jefe's vehicles may or may not have been at the scene when this took place. This car right here may or may not have been one of the vehicles that Jefe used to drive to No Jumper. But the driver of the vehicle never actually gets out the car. When the altercation play out between this group of people, somebody runs into the passenger side of one of Jefe's vehicles, allegedly, and they drove off. This right here is the gentleman that was shot and killed. Him right here. Now, they're having some type of disagreement with some individuals there. So while they're having a disagreement, you're about to see this guy right here is about to get punched. Now, when he gets punched, the person who was shot and killed, they all began to move forward. Now, when they begin to move forward, somebody comes from around the car and started shooting, hits him, he falls and dies. Then they chase somebody around this vehicle, but they couldn't shoot them, and the person goes away.
Now, let me just pause this video and say this right. Rest in peace, man, to that young man who lost his life. I believe people are saying he's 30 years old, still extremely young, right? But all these people right here in this video, they are in Los Angeles at the time. I don't know if they're from Los Angeles, but they are in Los Angeles. I'm sure some of them are from Los Angeles. And so you have to know the makeup of where you're at and the atmosphere of Los Angeles in relation to the gang climate, right? If I'm out at 2:00 in the morning in Los Angeles, right, I'm going to assume there are many individuals carrying a gun at that time of night, some for protection, some to put in work, whatever their reasons are, right? So me personally, I'm not just to get into it with nobody and have no confrontation with nobody at 2:00 at night in LA. If the thing, I'm not just to do a whole lot of talking, right? I'm not just to be talking and going back and forth. I'm gonna handle my business and do what I was out there to do. In the event things get problematic, it seemed like, talking would not be the wise thing to do. I just don't understand this, right? You have to assume in this group somebody has a gun, right? So I'm not just to be confronting nobody. It just, to me, it makes no sense with the climate of LA, man. Of course, I know I'm a little older. I've lived a little longer, but it makes no sense, man, right? To be pushing up on anybody tripping, and having words.
Now, this guy right here is about to punch him when he turns his back. I'm not going to show the footage, obviously. Now, watch. Now, I don't know why, he has no situational awareness whatsoever. He's standing close as if it's sweet. He's about to get punched. Watch. Boop. Now he's about to launch at him and punch him right now, right? He spots him about to punch like this. He punches him. Now, obviously, right, I can't show that. But now you see he been driven back on the wall. He's still pursuing him. Now, when he pursues him, it's only him. So now his homies, including the dude who got killed, they now progress on him. But that's when the shooting happened. You see right here? Now the person comes from around here and they begin to shoot. Now, I'm not gonna show y'all the footage, right? But just know they shot and killed this person. They shot and killed him. He hit the floor. He ran over here. He runs right here. They run over here. Then they took off around the corner. So this is the shooting footage. Hefe did not commit the shooting. But because it was rumored that Hefe may or may not have been at the scene when it took place. His vehicle may or may not have been there when it took place. People automatically assume, oh, damn, wait, was he in over there when it happened? Oh, damn, he got picked up for that. He didn't get picked up for that. That's where the misunderstanding came from. Everybody is assuming, all right, that one of Ant's vehicle may or may not have been there, allegedly, right? So, but he was not picked up for that. Maybe he could be called in for questioning for that, who knows, allegedly, but he was not picked up for that. And Hefe was picked up, again, this is directly from family members of Hefe, okay? and Hefe was picked up for a conspiracy that took place a couple of months ago, a murder. What was this conspiracy? What was this murder? Well, let me explain, okay? And Hefe is from A-Tray Gangsta's Crips. 4 A-Trays were arrested yesterday. And Hefe was just one of them. There were 3 others that was arrested. Now, apparently a DP was taken. Now, and Hefe was not involved with the DP at all. But a DP was taking place. Now, when the DP is taking place, they brutalized and beat up the dude so bad. I don't know if weapons were involved. I don't know what were involved, but they brutalized this dude so bad that he died during the DP. Now, where the murder and the robbery comes in, after the dude died, they ran into his car, stole some stuff, and dipped. Now, the police is claiming, according to Aunt Hefe's family, that Aunt Hefe was there when this took place. Aunt Hefe was again not involved with the DP. He did not punch anybody, didn't hit him, but he was present when the DP took place. And because of that, Aunt Hefe's family is claiming that the police is saying that Aunt is involved in this conspiracy to murder.
So you guys just heard Flakko say that Aunt Hefe's family reached out to him, which I have no reason to disbelieve him, right? By him being a popular YouTuber and by him being able to put information out there through his platform, that may be true. You know, his family may want the correct information being put out there, right? And so some people may hear that and feel relieved and be like, okay, well, he's not involved in a shooting and in this conspiracy. He didn't actually put his hands on the dude, so that's much, much better. That's not necessarily so, right? A conspiracy can be just as bad in terms of getting sentenced to time as an actual murder. You don't have to be a participant in the actual murder to get caught up and get a life sentence in conspiracy to murder, right? Let me give you guys a quick scenario, right? People in Riverside know exactly what I'm talking about if they're old enough to remember this. You had a couple of gangs go to war back in the early 90s in Riverside, right? You had some gangs and some individuals get together and have a gang meeting. And in this meeting, they all agreed to go to war on these other gangs, right? And put in work and start rioting. Now, there was a lot of people at the meeting, right? And everybody in this meeting didn't necessarily go out and put in work. But when it came out about this meeting, many people at that meeting got sentenced to a lot of time and caught life sentences for simply being at the meeting, and agreeing that, you know, they was declaring war on these specific hoods, right? So you don't have to necessarily participate in actual violence to be part of a conspiracy and get caught up and get a lot of time, you know. So a conspiracy is wicked and you can catch a life sentence just like you could being the perpetrator of an actual murder.
That's why Hefe is in jail, according to his family. People believe Hefe got picked up for the blood murder at the taco stand because Hefe may or may not have been present, according to the sighting of one of his cars, when this murder took place. A high-ranking gang member from Pueblos, Young Woo, it looks like he's not letting Young Hefe off the hook completely just yet, because he dropped a video where he essentially names Young Hefe and backs up the story that Young Hefe and this dude had an altercation. Now, from the footage I just seen, if that's Young Hefe's car, if that's one of the cars Young Hefe drive to no jumper, if that's one of them, then Young Hefe never actually got out the vehicle when the altercation took place.
Pueblo Bishops, rest in peace, my young homie, Lil Bandit, aka Bandino. But listen, man, the story has come out on what happened to him. So allegedly, at the time where he went to the taco stand to get him a burrito, Young Hefe had just pulled up or was there already. He was standing in line, and when you know, the homies or homies seen him, because I'm not sure how many people was with the homie Lil Bandit. You know, they start pressing Young and Hefe, banging on him. I guess they wasn't aware that, you know, he from HA Gangsters. He also, you know, that popular YouTube nigga. You feel what I'm saying? And after that, you feel me, once Young and Hefe say you from HA Gangsta Crib, you would think it'd be like, you know, dead, you know, water under the bridge or some shit. But I guess Young and Hefe felt uncomfortable, started walking to his car, and then a homie followed him to his car. That's when the argument ensued, you feel me, with the dissing and everything. And then Young and Hefe, they say he shot 6 or 7, maybe 8.
They still blaming Ant for that murder, apparently. But shout out to Remo, man. Me and Remo has been on the phones trying to get y'all the most information we can get y'all, man. Remo has been a big help. He's been on the phones as well, doing some really, really, really great investigation. And
now, you know, to me that's crazy, right? That information would be put out there by Aunt Hefe, or excuse me, about Aunt Hefe, right? Because that placing him on the scene of a crime is not necessarily good at all, right? And in my reporting, if I'm reporting something, right, I'm not going to be an eyewitness to a situation like that, and I'm not going to relate third-party information that is placing an individual on the scene of a crime as a gang member. That's something that I personally wouldn't do, right? I'm not going to report on a situation that personally involves my homies and you know, indicate them in a crime. So at the end of the day, man, and Hefe still has a lot of problems, it appears, right? Things are definitely going to, in my opinion, get uglier before they get better. You know, he's facing a lot of accusations, and it's definitely not a good look either way.
Detective work when it comes to this case, man. But I'll be real with y'all guys, man. The Pueblo Bloods, they're still blaming Young and Hefe for this. I'm not entirely sure Young and Hefe fired any shots. The vehicle being seen or not being seen at the crime scene, I don't know. But that's why people thought Young and Hefe got picked up for that particular murder, because Young and Hefe may or may not have been at the scene when the murder took place. But Young and Hefe was actually picked up, again, according to Young and Hefe's family. Now, if they're misleading us, they're misleading us. But Young and Hefe family said he got picked up for a conspiracy a couple of months ago involving a member of A-Tray dying. Let me know in the comment section, what do you guys think about this, okay? If you're still watching this video.
And so, yeah, man, I don't know what to think of that particular video right there, right? It was a lot of twists and a lot of turns in that video, right? So, it seems like, right, from all the things that's being alleged, it seems like Aunt Hefe is in some serious trouble, right? Because it's being alleged that he has a situation with this taco stand shooting, and also some conspiracy type allegations. So all this stuff is very, very serious allegations, man. So it seems like he could be potentially involved in two different situations where somebody has lost their life, right? So this is not going to get any better, man. It's going to definitely get uglier before it gets better. And so, you know, I can imagine what life is like for Aunt Hefe right now. You know, just a couple of days ago, you free, you chilling, you doing your thing, you know, you moving that wheel, you eating good food, you doing whatever free people do. Then you look up and you find yourself incarcerated, you know, fighting some serious charges, man, which your freedom took, right? And let's look at it, right? He's 35 years old, and he got picked up a couple of days before his birthday. I believe his birthday is on the 25th of this month, and so he'll be 36, man. At 36 years old, fighting a case like this that could potentially, you know, have you doing 25 to 30 years, thinking about, man, just getting out when, you know, you're going to be considered a senior citizen is definitely not a good look, man. So we just have to see how this plays out, right? My condolences goes out to everybody involved in this situation who lost their life and their family, their friends, their loved ones, all the above. This is, it's an ugly situation, man, and we just have to see how this plays out. Anyway, you already know what it is. It's your boy 16 to Life. Resume normal program.